Hi everybody, it's Tatiana and this is Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I read this during the reading rush. This was the only novel that I finished during the reading rush, but I'm proud that I did it and read other things because I have a job. I cannot promise that this review will be spoiler free because I am doing a review as well as a movie comparison. So if you have not seen the movie or read the book, you may not want to watch this review beyond the fact of me saying or the statement that I'm going to make that I did like the book. If you have seen the movie but have not read the book, I don't think the things that I will be sharing in this review are going to make that big of a difference when you go to read the book versus having watched the movie, because those of us who read and watch adaptations know that things in the story change between point A and point B. Having said that, these chicks are some selfish, self-centered, self-absorbed heifers. Oh my goodness. That, I have to say, is one of the biggest changes between the characters in the book versus the characters in the movie. In the movie, they do not seem as selfish as they are in the book. You have Jillian, who is more concerned with getting away from the aunts and excuse me, getting out to live her own life, falling in and out of love with all of these men that she comes into contact with. And then you have Sally, who is ends up being the mother between the two sisters, and she does all of these things to take care of the aunts, and she has her own business. And y'all, no, that's not how these characters are in the book. And I think that was the biggest surprise for me, because as a Sandra Bullock fan, I really enjoyed the character of Sally. Like, Sally and then Jimmy are two of my favorite characters in the movie. And to see how different Sally in the book is versus Sally in the movie was a big shocker for me. Also, the daughters in the book, Sally's daughters, are older in the book than they are in the movie. In the movie, I want to say the oldest seems to be about 10 and the youngest 8, because they are 2 years apart. But in the movie, in the book, when things start hitting the fan, they're in high school, and they are also very selfish. They are not sisterly towards each other at all. So that's another big change between the book and the movie. Having said that, I really appreciate how they made the changes to the storyline in the movie versus how it happens in the book. It's like in the movie they compressed a whole bunch of things so that to, of course, move the story along and move the movie along and not have it go across this huge span of time like it does in the novel. And sometimes when that happens, it does not go well. When the movie, when you read the book and then see the movie, it doesn't go well. Case in point, Beautiful Creatures. But I think that they did a really good job with compressing the events that take place and putting them, because in the book you get the different point of views of some of the characters, but it's not, when you first start reading, it's not really understood that when you start with the new character, for example, when the investigator comes into play, it's not really expressed in the book that you're backtracking to the investigators first being brought into this whole situation with trying to find Jimmy. Jimmy's name is different. His last name is different in the book versus the movie, but they got a good Jimmy for the movie, so that's fine. But yeah, I did enjoy this. There are no chapter breaks. That's the other thing. There are no chapter breaks in this book. This book is split into 4 sections, I believe, and that's the break that you get, and each section gets longer and longer. I want to say the last section is close to 100 pages, where the first section is about 40 pages. So each one gets longer and longer as you're going through the story, but because of the way Hoffman writes, it does not feel like the section is getting longer. And as the section gets longer, you're getting more of the points of view of the girls, the main sisters, or the two main sisters, Jillian and Sally, then Sally's daughters, and some of their backstory, some of the things from what's going on in the city that they live in. Because in the book, Sally does not live in the Boston city, whereas in the movie it stays in that Boston city at the aunt's house for the entirety of the movie. That's not the case in the book. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I look forward to reading another story by Alice Hoffman. I was thinking that after reading this, I was going to want to read her prequel to this, which is The Rules of Magic. There's an excerpt in the back. Yes, The Rules of Magic. But I kind of don't think I want to read the prequel now, because the only reason why I would want to read the prequel is if it were focusing on the aunts, and if the aunts had the personalities that they had in the movie. And you really don't get the aunts' personalities in this book at all. So I don't think I want to read the prequel to this, so I got to figure out where I want to go next. But I enjoyed this. Above all, even though with being very, very shocked with the difference in the characters, how they're portrayed in the book versus the movie, I really enjoyed Hoffman's writing. This is the first book I've ever read by her, so this was a great read. This is a great example of unlikable characters in a good story. And yeah, that's all that I have for this review. If you have read this and you want to talk about it, talk to me in the comments below. If you haven't read this but have seen the movie and there's some questions that you have but you don't really want to read the book, you can ask them in the comments below. That's fine. I like talking about books, and I'm gonna go. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good weekend, whenever you see this video. Peace out.